of yesteryear. Now we're going to speak a bit about a great Syrian-originated rabbi. Today we've actually spoken about him before in the past inside the series. His name was Rabbi Yaakov Chai ציון Ades. Zecher Tzadik Libracha. The 27th of Tammuz marks his Hilula. He was born actually in English year 1898 to be precise, on the 2nd of March, and passed away on the 19th of July 1963, around 62 years ago. Here from the time of recording, he was not just great Sephardi Chacham, he was a Rosh Yeshiva, also a rabbinical high court judge. We can see he was a Rosh Yeshiva of the famous Yeshivat Pורת Yosef, and he raised thousands and thousands of students, including famous rabbis such as Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi ציון Abba Shaul, and Rabbi Yehuda HaKohen Rabin, who would go on later on to become the chief rabbi of the Bukharian community. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the great rabbi's life, because he was arguably one of the famous rabbis in the last 100 years. What's interesting was his father was a great rabbi. Rabbi Avram Chaim or Antebi Ades, a rabbi we've spoken about before, was one of the great Kabbalists of Jerusalem, or came from Arum Savar respectively, and he was, I believe, one of the founder of Yeshivat Rehovot Hanahar in Jerusalem, a place we've spoken about on various occasions before. We have mentioned him, and it's interesting. His mother's name was Salha. Her name happened to have been. So he came from great rabbinic auspices, and while he was young, he would learn inside the Bukharian neighborhood. Over there, be educated, I think, through the auspices of his father. He would start learning in Yeshivat or Moed, I think, under the auspices of another great rabbi, Rabbi Raphael Shlomo Laniado, one of the great rabbis of his time. Rabbi Laniado was a Kabbalist. He was also Rosh Yeshiva, I think the first one actually of Yeshivat Pורת Yosef and of Yeshivat Ohel Moed, and was part of the committee, Sephardi committee, let's just say in himself, the structure in Jerusalem in his day. Now, after time progressed, he would go on to learn under the auspices of Rabbi Yosef Yedid HaLevi. He himself happened to be the head of Jewish court, and let's just say what leading rabbi of the Chalabi, the Aleppo community in Jerusalem, one of the great rabbis of the holy city, and we've spoken about him also before. I believe his Hilula was on the 8th of March, and he very much had various importances. I think he was close to the famous Saba Kadisha, Rabbi Shlomo Alfandari, and various other great rabbis. And he was actually the rabbi of Rabbi Ezra Atiyah, Rabbi Yaakov Ades, not just Rabbi Yaakov Ades, also Rabbi Yaakov Katzin, Rabbi Raphael Shlomo Laniado, and many, many other great rabbanim we're talking about. So he would learn under his auspices, Rabbi Yosef Yedid HaLevi. Come on, 1990, he would get married to Chaya Esther. She happened to be the daughter of Rabbi Ezra Harari Raful. Now, he was actually one of the founders, and I think the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Ohel Moed, also a Kabbalist, so he was really coming into great family in of itself. So to continue this like chain and greatness, I think it was tough times over there, and from a financial point of view for many, many people that was living there. And it's interesting, I think he was quite close to another rabbi, Rabbi Nissim Nachum, who was a famous Kabbalist, a public figure, a philanthropist, one of the founders of Yeshivat Pורת Yosef at Shar Shamayim and Rehovot Anahar and the Keter Torah institutions. So I think he was also in connection with Rabbi Nissim Nachum over there at that point in time, within regards to helping him with his educational progresses and his progressing within regards to becoming a Dayan and various other positions of Rabbi Yaakov Ades. Okay, now interesting, I think come with year 1920, he would receive rabbinic ordination and to be appointed as a Magid Shiur in Yeshivat Ohel Moed, very prominent position. And then I think come what, April 1923, this would have been till, and he was, let's just say, he would pass on to go to the place of Yeshivat Pורת Yosef over there. He will be appointed a Magid Shiur over there, position he would keep for a long period of time, I believe. And much can be said about, we've spoken about Yeshivat Pורת Yosef on various occasions before. Sadly, I think during this period when he was in yeshiva, much of the yeshiva writings and books were burned from the terrible Jordanian occupiers over there. That we see the anti-Semitism that's occurred in Eretz Israel all these years very much occurred at that point in time. Now it come with the year 1935, he'll be appointed part of the Chaveh Bet Din, the Jewish court over there for the Sephardi community in Jerusalem. I think this will be under the auspices of Rabbi Yaakov Meir. Remember, Rabbi Yaakov Meir, I believe, was the Rishon LeTzion of Israel's Sephardi chief rabbi of Eretz Israel, and very much would also have been a Shluchei de Rabbanan, and very much associated with the Yeshivat, famous Kabbalistic Yeshivat Bet El over there. And so he would have this position, I think, in the Chavre Bet Din, specifically between 1935 and until 1943. 1944 would see him now become a Dayan in the Bet Din in Tel Aviv, another prominent position. I think this would be with the help of another famous Ashkenazi rabbi, if I'm not mistaken, Rabbi David Halevi Jungreis, if I'm not mistaken. He will be appointed over there in this position, and he was very, very highly considered, let's just say, Rabbi Ades among the Aleppo Jews. And I think for a point of time he would live in Jerusalem, and he would travel to Tel Aviv every single day and return from bus. In those days, remember, just a few days before the formation of the state, remember Tel Aviv is not that far from Jerusalem, respectively. Now, 1945, we'll see more occurring. I think come that period of time, he would start heading the Jerusalem court over there, be a judge in the Bet Din of Rabbi Tzvi Pesach Frank. Very, very prominent position. Rabbi was talking about Rabbi Tzvi Pesach Frank on various occasions before he was the author of the Har Tzvi, a very famous rabbi of his day. He would be there, and I think this will be until year 1955, and then he'll be appointed as a Dayan in the Bet Din HaRabbanei HaGadol, great rabbinical court, along with other great rabbis. I think especially there was another Ashkenazi rabbi, Rabbi Betzalel Zulati, if I'm not mistaken. He was, I think, the chief rabbi. He was, or I'm not too sure if he was rabbi of Jerusalem, I believe, and was a part also of the Bet Din HaGadol, let's just say. Other great rabbis that were part of this Bet Din was the famous Rabbi Ovadia Hodaya, rabbi we were talking about before, the author of the Yaskil Abdi, great Torah colossal book over there. He was one of the great, let's say, Mukubalim from Yeshivat Bet El, and part of the Moat Soter Rabbanot Rishit in Israel. He happened to be Rabbi Ovadia Hodaya. Also, another rabbi was Rabbi Yitzchak Meir ben Menachem, who was also part of the great Bet Din court inside that vicinity. Also, other rabbis was Rabbi Eliezer Goldschmidt, and sorry about that. Just a short break, just moving location. We're just in the middle of the video of the famous Rabbi Yaakov Ades, because it's his Hilula here on the 27th of Tammuz. So I just had to take a very, very short break from this video, but I'm back. Okay, so let's continue. So I think so we spoke about that. He was in the part of the Bet Din court, along with Rabbi Eliezer Goldschmidt, Rabbi Yitzchak Meir ben Menachem, who was one of the great rabbis, Chaver Bet Din over there, Rabbi Ovadia Hodaya, we spoke about his greatness, Rabbi Betzalel Zulati, a famous Ashkenazi rabbi. Another one was Rabbi Eliezer Goldschmidt, who was part of the Bet Din structure, let's just say, of this specific place. He was one of the great Lithuanian rabbis of that specific day in Eretz Yisrael. Another one was Rabbi Yosef Shalom Eliashiv, another great Lithuanian rabbi, and very much we must speak about him also. Now, come on, 1963, more will occur at that specific point in time. I think it was, so he would be in this position, I think, till 1963, and he was also, I think, from 1957, he would serve as a member of the committee examining Dayanim also, so he was very much part of training and inspecting and making sure the caliber was very great. I think it's reported over, I think, it was 90, so it's saying, just to add on, 1936, I think it was. It's reported over, just reading here from Wikipedia, that I think sadly, his older son passed away at the age of 16, very, very, very sadly, and obviously that was huge pain that was, and I think he really, really did suffer from health problems, and also when he learned of the passing of Rabbi Ben Sion Meir Chai Uziel, he would suffer from heart attack. Remember, Rabbi Uziel was one of the chief rabbis of Israel, especially at the start of the formation of the state of Israel. I think in his last months of his life, sadly, he was hospitalized because he had a hemorrhoid, I think, and he passed away on August 4th in the year 1963, and he was buried in the rabbinical plot in Har HaMenuchot, one of the great rabbis of his time. Now it's interesting, I think his sons Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Daniel Ades would found the Kol Yaakov Yeshiva, Yeshiva in Beit Vegan. Hopefully we're going to speak about it at one stage in time. Rabbi, just say a few words in regards to one of his sons, Rabbi Yehuda Ades. He's a very much a great rabbi. He was actually born in the year 1937, part of the Moatzot Gedlei HaTorah of Degel HaTorah. Also, he at various different roles, let's just say, in his life, important roles. He was Rosh Yeshiva, giving Shurim, various different Kolim, and various different Torah institutions, giving Musa classes, with a great kiruv rabbis of this specific point in time. I think he was very much part of Yeshivat Ponovich at various different stages. Much more can be said within regards to his rabbi. He was close connection with all different various branches, let's just say, of Haredi Judaism, both Ashkenazic and Sephardi. And I believe he was just doing a lot of public activity, let's just say, within regards to promoting Torah. I think he would work at various different political parties, municipalities of different areas. Also, he was part of municipal elections, especially I think in Bnei Brak, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a president of the yeshiva. He's a president of the yeshiva community. Ades, member of the Council of Torah's sages. Let's just say, I think he was associated with various different streams of the ultra-Orthodox parties. And I think only recently he retired for politics over the last few years. And we can say a bit more within regards to Rabbi Yaakov, his grandchildren also, for example, we've spoken about before. Yeah, so that's very interesting. We're just going to explore within regards to his son. We're just speaking about his son now just for a minute, who's a very, very great rabbi. And I think includes the famous Kabbalist Rabbi Yaakov Ades, who's known as author of the Divrei Yaakov, a series of various books. He's a scholar, he's a Kabbalist, and I think he has a lot of prayer inside the Kotel, if I'm not mistaken. Another one of his daughter Meir Levi, is an author of a book. Also, son-in-laws include Rabbi Akiva Cohen, the rabbi of Kol Yaakov Yeshiva, and various other, Rav Moshe Bracha, for example, another rabbi in the Kol Yaakov Yeshiva. I think Rabbi Yitzhak Greenwald is the director of the yeshiva. So he left various, Rabbi Yaakov Chai Ades, for example, left many, many great descendants and very, very great generations of Torah scholars. And so let's just explore a bit more within regards to Rabbi Yaakov Ades. Let's just go through. So his son, Rabbi David ben Sion Ades, became a great rabbi in Bnei Brak. He had another son, Rabbi Ezra Nisim Ades, Rabbi Yaakov had. He would become the rabbi in Herzliya. Another one, Rabbi Yosef Moshe Ades, was one of the leaders of the Yeshivat Pורת Yosef. Rabbi Yehuda Ades, who we spoke about just a few minutes ago, was a head of Kol Yaakov Yeshiva. Another son, Rabbi Yitzchak Ades, was a supervisor and educator. Another one, Rabbi Daniel Ades, going to become a director of Yeshiva Kol Yehuda. His daughter, Rabbanit Simcha, got married to Yitzchak Rivlin. I think they happen to be the parents of, if I'm not mistaken, of Yaakov Rivlin, who happens to be an ultra-Orthodox journalist, if I'm not mistaken. His daughter Ruth got married to Rabbi Yitzchak Shiloni. Now, among his grandchildren, we're just going back to Rabbi Yaakov Ades over here. His grandson, Rabbi Avram Ades, is Bnei Brak. He's a researcher, educator, author of Torah books. His grandson, Rabbi Yaakov Ades, who we spoke about before, the author of the Divrei Yaakov. Another one, his grandson is Rabbi Avram Chaim Ades, the teacher in Beit Began neighborhood. And we said before, his grandson is Yaakov Rivlin, who happens to be a journalist, an ultra-Orthodox Israeli journalist, who I think he himself was born in the year 1958. Now, among his students, he was very famous for having great students, including Rabbi Yaakov Katzin, who would become a great Kabbalist, the founder of the Gan Lebanon Kabbalistic Yeshiva in Jerusalem, rabbi in Magen David and Shar ציון, the Syrian communities in Brooklyn. Another one of his Talmidim, Rabbi Yehuda Kohen Rabbin, who was a rabbi of the Bukharian Jury, and rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. I think he passed away in the year 2001, if I'm not mistaken. He had more students, including Chacham Ovadia Yosef, the famous Rav Ovadia Yosef, who's spoken about on various occasions before. And Rabbi Ben Sion Abashul was just his Hilula quite recently, Rosh Yeshiva Pורת Yosef, also great Posek Halacha. We can say more within regards to him. Very interesting. I think his mother, Rabbi Nitzala, was a daughter of Rabbi Moshe Swed. I think he himself happened to be the rabbi of Aleppo. And in his in Aleppo itself, his father, Rabbi Avraham Chaim Ades, was considered the great Chacham over there, Kabbalist and author, and he was a teacher of Rabbi Yosef the Levi, which we mentioned before, and also the famous Rabbi Yosef Chamoy, and Rabbi Yaakov Katzin, Rabbi Shlomo Laniado, like we mentioned before, and Rabbi Ezra Atiyah. And Rabbi Ades would help in regards to the founding, I believe, of Rehovot and Nahar Yeshiva in the Bukharin community over there, which we've spoken about on various occasions before. So he was a famous Maggid Shir. He would teach in Pורת, Yosef, I think, for a total of 20 years. Every day he would deliver a shir on Talmudic topics, I think in the morning, and a shir on the Torah and Choshen Mishpat in the afternoon. I think a lot of his unpublished Torah writings from that period were, unfortunately, as we stated before in the onset, destroyed when the Jordanian Arab Legion set fire to Yeshiva in the Old City in 1948. And we spoke about how he was Rabbi in various different rabbinical courts of his time until he passed away in the year 1963. He was very punctilious also in his observance of mitzvot. He would spend many, many hours selecting his, let's say, arbat minim, 4 species for Sukkot, examining hundreds of hadassim until he found the one that met all the halachic requirements. This is what is reported over here on Wikipedia. I think it's come from a 2005 article, if I'm not mistaken. The Machon Otzar Torah is featured in. He was known for his humility and modesty, and he would rise each night at midnight to study Kabbalah. Him and his wife, I think they had 7 sons and 2 daughters. So 1 son and the daughter sadly died of pneumonia, as we said before on the outset. And so we said that, I think it was Rabbi Avraham Chaim, he passed away only at the age of 16 after minor surgery. But many of the rabbis would go on to become great leaders, which we mentioned about before, especially just to add on, Rabbi Ezra Nissim Ades, his son, who passed away in the year 2012, was Rabbi at the congregation Shari Tzedek in Manchester and the Rabbi in Herzliya, which we mentioned about before. Now, I believe he passed away, it's reported of, in the year 1963, and I think his wife Chaya Esther, Rabbanit Chaya Esther, passed away in the year 1988, which was buried beside him in Haram Nochot. And hopefully we'll speak about the Yeshivat Kol Yaakov Yeshiva in Beit Began, which his son Rabbi Yehuda would set up. And we'll speak more within regards to the great rabbi. So we can mention a few more interesting tidbits. Maybe we'll look at his book also in a minute with a few of his teachings, because we're using the notes not just from Wikipedia, also here from the Hayomi website. And during his time, various different appointments he had, and the various different halachic responsa, which I think would be published mostly from his sons and grandsons in various different books, I think including the Chedvot Yaakov, if I'm not mistaken. And Kol Yaakov Yeshiva, I think it's named after him, if I'm not mistaken, in Beit Began. Let's explore a few of the teachings from his book. For example, I think from the Yoredea, which he concentrates on Simon 24. This was printed in 2000, I think, in Jerusalem. Melamed lehetnot bli neder matan ma'aser la'asot kol davar mitzvah. Another teaching, Melamed she'eno mechadash shum davar rak melaket et shirohu min hashamayim. And another last teaching is just from his book, which we're just picking out of him. Melamed l'mishnah shemot mepnei tzililo hamizrachi shenikva al pi rov ha'olam. This is, I believe, taken from the Chedvat Yaakov book, concentrating on Eben Ezer, the 25th chapter, once again printed in Jerusalem. So he was a great rabbi. It's his Hilula. Don't forget to light candles in his memory. Our friends, we are a community here. We're learning about great rabbis of yesteryear. If you descend from any of the great Chachamim we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. If you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these videos here, please share these videos also to other people and help grow the community. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We don't just do videos over here on great Chachamim from yesteryear. We're doing many other projects and endeavors on this specific channel. We are doing Dafyomi tidbits every single day. We are recording with an interesting personality on every single day. Great rabbis or Jewish personalities will share over some great wisdom for Am Yisrael. Other things we're doing on this channel, Parshat Shvuah videos. We are doing videos on the famous great, let's just say, great rabbis, which we've just spoken about, which we're doing here at the moment. We're also, another exciting project is what we'd speak about current, let's say, Jewish events also occasionally, and speak about going through the eyes of Torah point of view within regards to that specific sphere. So we're really embodying a lot. We're a community here. Please, the best thing you guys can do, which will really help us, is subscribe to the channel and enjoy and watch the space. We have so many great, so many great videos and content, and please share and enjoy. So wishing you all a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and recording this actually from the city of Bet Shemesh in Israel. I recommend everyone to come and visit us. We're based in Bet Shemesh, and please send me an email. Give us some feedback. Who are you? Who's the people that's watching us? How did you find our channel over here? What do you enjoy the most within regards to the channel? It would be great to hear all this different feedback, and this will really help give us more insights about who exactly is watching. We're nearing a staggering 7,000 members now. Friends, also remember, on this series at the moment, we have already covered as many as 7,000 biography videos, which is absolutely phenomenal, of great rabbis of yesteryear. So you can be very much part of that by joining and watching. Look at the playlist. We've got a long playlist of more than 1,100 rabbis. So please, if you watch that over, you're going to get more insights of who many of these great rabbis were that we're speaking about, and hopefully you guys can share to everybody else. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Thank you.